Good afternoon. I'm going to do my presentation in Portuguese, and I'm going to try and talk slowly so that the translators are able to translate, but I only have 6 minutes though. I have come from Brazil to talk to you about something that is a little upsetting. I work in the Paulista Museum, a very big and important history museum in the city of Sao Paulo. And it's a museum that the population loves. There's an affectionate link to the museum because many people go there as kids, and it's their first museum. I started working in the museum when I was 23, and in my first day at work, my boss told me, "Welcome. We're going to love you here, but get ready because this is a very long career ahead of you. You will be here for 47 years. I said 47 years, that's a long time. But in Brazil, you retire when you're 70. So he was telling me that I needed to get ready for many years of work. 8 months later, when I was still 47 years to go until I was retired, the museum was closed because of an emergency, because there was a big problem with the physical structure of the venue. It's a very old building, and there was imminent danger of tumbling down. It was dangerous for us and for the audiences. So from one day to the next, I had no museum. The first thing that I thought about is the museum is closed, and now what? We decided then that it was necessary to understand and to establish an equilibrium and a balance between the preservation of the building and the actions for the audiences. We are located in a big park in the city of Sao Paulo, and we decided to go to the park, move to the park, so as to be able to interact with the public, with the audiences. But the audience was not exactly the same because many people were in the park, but they had never visited the museum. For many months, we conducted educational actions with workshops and games and informal conversations with the different audiences in the park. And it was a very enriching experience because for the first time we established a link with people that were not part of the reality of the museum, even though they were physically close. We started coming to informal workers, people with mental diseases, and athletes doing physical activity in the park. After a few months, we had to interrupt these activities because of lack of structure or infrastructure of the museum to give these tasks continuity. Now, I was even more depressed because I had no museum and no park to work with. So I said, I'm not going to sit down. I'm going to find a solution. I realized the Sao Paulo Museum was not the first museum that had been in this situation. Many institutions had been closed or reformed or restored. And so I started looking for other experiences to see how other organizations had undergone a situation like this. I discovered then that there are several possibilities to continue working. For example, traveling exhibitions, not only in other museums and brother or sister museums, but also in subway stations, parks, public spaces, and some other venues. Many friends and people from other museums continued with their education projects in other spaces that were not exhibition rooms. And they conducted their projects in schools and community spaces and even on the street. Another action that was a very interesting discovery was actions that have to do with the internet. Some museums, in the periods when they were closed, decided to build collaboration platforms with collections where the public contributed, and Others made an intense use of social networks to come close to the audiences and understand what they wanted to do in this new phase and enable 100% of use of their collections by the audiences so that they could do whatever they wanted with them. So this led me to understand that even though the museum was closed due to restoration, it had to be opened. Closing the museum is not an excuse to say goodbye to your audiences. It's more than that. It's a period of creation. I also understood that the space for exhibition and activities is not the only possibility of things to do with the museum. There are possibilities of establishing alliances with other institutions and organizations, and the communities where the museums are located, and another possibility to maintain the visibility of the institution so that it's not forgotten for many years. Also, the media can help, and the community gives you chances to give continuity to the visibility of the museum. To finish, I have to say that I was able to understand that instead of promoting the participation of the audiences, it's important to establish a new link with them at these points so that this is a long-lasting relationship that extends until the museum is reopened, in our case in 2022. I don't know how many years I'm going to work in the museum after that. Thank you.